How's it going, Fatal Family? In today's video, I got new hidden models for you to download, hidden files to show you, future My Faction packs that we can see, as well as future My Faction characters that we're most likely going to see and hopefully be able to download as well. I also got an update on some existing superstars, not a good update by the way, and finally some new moves that were added.
That's fatal!
First off, let's start with the hidden models. The first one is a playable BFAB, not really hidden model, but you know, it is a playable BFAB. You obviously will need the Steiner Roll DLC to download this BFAB, but this was uploaded by What's the Status. Use hashtag BFABplay to find this playable BFAB. The next hidden model was a surprising one, and it was actually Candice LeRae. Yeah, you know Candice LeRae we got in 2K22 that wasn't 2K23, yeah. Well, there's a Candice LeRae model, uploaded by What's the Status. Use hashtag Candice Hidden to find this Candice LeRae. Now, unfortunately, she does not have a theme song, so you will have to just try and give her the best suited theme song when you download her. The next one is another superstar that was in 2K22 and not in 2K23, and that is Mia Yim. Uploaded by What's the Status. Use hashtag Mia Yim Hidden to find and download this Mia Yim. And just like Candice LeRae, you will have to find entrance music that is suited for Mia Yim. There's also a Damian Priest and Finn Balor Judgment Day model with Judgment Day attires. Now, I don't know what's different with the models. I'm pretty sure the models are the same ones as the in-game models, but the main thing that was different is obviously the My Faction Judgment Day attires. The first one is Damian Priest with his Judgment Day attire. This Judgment Day attire is locked behind My Faction and will be a future My Faction pack, but the Damian Priest model itself is uploaded to the community creations by What's the Status. Use hashtag JD Hidden to find his Damian Priest. Now, like I said, I have no idea what's different with this Damian Priest compared to his in-game model, but once you download it, it will be an automatic alt attire to Damian Priest in-game. Unfortunately, the Judgment Day attire that I showed you is locked behind My Faction, but the model though, you can download. Next up is Finn Balor's Judgment Day attire for My Faction. As you can see, it's his black and silver pants that he's been wearing recently. Now, this will be a My Faction attire and model, so unfortunately you cannot download the attire, but if someone recreates the attire, you can just copy and paste it on this model. To download this Finn Balor, use hashtag JD Hidden as well, and it will be an automatic alt attire to Finn Balor in-game. Next up, let's talk about some new moves that were added to the game as well as a new victory motion. The drive-by dropkick has been added to the move list, so you can go ahead and click on it yourself and apply it to any superstar you want. They have added two of Pat McAfee's moves. The first one is called Special Teams 2, and the second one is called Middle Rope Code Red. They updated Roman Reigns' spear. He now does it a lot faster. They added a new super kick. And they also added a new suplex. Now, I'm not sure what the name of the super kick and the suplex is called, but I'm sure someone will figure it out once we get our hands on the DLC. But I must say, whoever did the mocap for these moves, look how they sold it. God damn. Next up, I got some bad news. Content damage is back. Yeah, you know that god forbidden error that we had in 2K22 that just pretty much blacklisted superstars and made it so that we could not download them anymore? Well, yeah, patch 1.8 also brought that back too. Now, What's the Status is obviously going to be looking for a bypass for this, but in the meantime, content damage is here for certain models. If you've downloaded Alexa Bliss 20, you will see that her model is completely gone now, and she is now a green moveset woman. If you try and re-download Alexa Bliss 20, you will get hit with the content damage error. Another superstar that got fully removed is the Farouk98 model that was Status uploaded. If you have him downloaded, he is now a moveset man wearing Farouk98's attire. Those two so far are the only superstars that I know of that have reverted to like moveset woman or moveset man, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's more models that have done the same. Very unfortunate stuff, but if those models get re-added maybe in like a My Faction pack, What's the Status will most likely try and upload them to the community creations. The weird thing about Alexa Bliss's model though is that she's actually a My Faction pack, but the weird thing is her My Faction card doesn't even have a My Faction model attached to it. Like Alexa Bliss's 20 model is completely out of the game. As you can see right here, we have an image of the My Faction gameplay using Alexa Bliss's 20 card, and it's still reverted back to moveset woman. So I feel like them removing Farouk98 and Alexa Bliss 20 had to have been a glitch, and specifically with Alexa Bliss 20, they're probably going to fix that really fast because it's a My Faction error, and you know, that's how they make their money. And when it comes to My Faction errors, they're very fast at fixing those. Alright, next up, let's talk about some My Faction packs that we can look forward to seeing in the future that will most likely come with models that can hopefully then be uploaded to the community creations and downloaded. The first one's a very exciting one, and Uncle Howdy and Lily folders have been found in the files. And when someone asks Joe Mashups, are these characters or are they props? Joe Mashup says they are characters, which means we're getting Uncle Howdy and Lily as a playable character for My Faction. And I believe when it comes to Lily, it'll be very similar to like the action figure John Cena, how it's just going to be like an outlandish superstar that you can buy for My Faction and only play in My Faction. Hopefully, unlike the action figure John Cena, Lily, and Uncle Howdy can be uploaded to the community creations, no problem, and downloaded. Other folders that were found in the files were a Stardust folder, a Fiend folder. Now, this one here, I was not surprised about at all. I even mentioned when Bray Wyatt got announced as DLC that they're most likely going to be using alt gimmicks for my faction and my faction only. So seeing the Fiend have a my faction pack, I am not surprised at all. And I really hope that this Fiend model can be uploaded to community creations, no problem. There was a Carmella 2018 and a Liv Morgan Money in the Bank 2022 tire folders added in the files. There was a Dark Alexa Bliss plus Funhouse Alexa Bliss folders added to the files. There was a Demon Finn Balor 17 and a Randy Orton 13 attire folders added to the files. Again, when it comes to Demon Finn Balor, I'm not surprised. They removed the Demon Finn Balor from 2K23, and then they're going to package that gimmick as a My Faction pack and My Faction exclusive. There was a Dolph Ziggler 2013 and a Big E 2021 attire folders found in the files. There was Alexa Bliss Backlash 2016 and Charlotte Flair WrestleMania 35 attire folders found in the files. And that right there were all the current attire folders that were found in the files, so expect all those superstars and attires to be future My Faction packs. Now let's talk about some cool props that Joe Mashups found in the files that I'm going to share with you. The first one is Elton Prince's face texture. Yeah, if you ever thought about how that looked like, straight up nightmare fuel. The next file is Tiffany Stratton's purse, which is most likely what she's going to be coming out with during her entrance. Next up, we have Wendy Chu's thermos that she's most likely going to come out with during her entrance. The next file is Andre Chase's paper roll. Bray Wyatt's entrance door has been added to the files. This is awesome. This means that during his entrance, he will be using that door that he comes out of with all the smoke and the fog. Tiffany Chu's pillow has been added to the files. It looks like it's a pillow that she's going to hold in her hands alongside her cup. Here is the render for Bray Wyatt. This right here is the render that Bray Wyatt's going to be using for his DLC character. As you can see, it's obviously based on his most recent gimmick. This right here is Tiffany Stratton's My Faction render. Joe Mashups also states there's a high chance that this will also be her in-game render as well. These two are the renders for the OC, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. This right here is the render for Tony D'Angelo. Wade Barrett's render is still the same as his retro look, like during the DLC reveal picture. This right here is going to be Eva Torres' render for 2K23. There are two Wendy Chu renders added to the game. The one on the right I already covered before, so I believe the one on the left will be her actual render. Next up, we have Ivy Niles' render for 2K23. Pretty Deadly renders were also added to the files. Trick Williams' render was added to the files. BFAB has 2 renders that were added to the files. Top Dollar had 3 renders added to the files. Ashanti Adonis also had 3 renders added to the files. And finally, there were Titantron images for Wendy Chu and Tiffany Stratton that were added to the files. And there right there, guys, so far everything new that has been added with patch 1.8 and the Steiner Road DLC pack. Go ahead and download those hidden models. I'm very excited to see these future My Faction packs, and I really hope that they're not going to be blacklisted or blocked and can be freely uploaded and downloaded without issues. And like I said, guys, if you have Alexa Bliss 20 and Farouk 98 downloaded, go ahead and delete them. They are practically useless. That's watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe, notifications on, and I'll catch you next video. Fiddle Steven out. Peace.